What Scottie Scheffler just did over the last 2 weeks is something we have not seen in modern golf. The world number one just walked onto a golf course he has never played as a professional. A $20 million purse is waiting. Rory McIlroy isn't there. Matt Fitzpatrick isn't there. Xander Schauffele isn't there. And Scottie Scheffler, according to CBS Sports this morning, is the overwhelming favorite to win the 2026 Cadillac Championship at plus 290. Let's talk about what is actually happening here, because it is bigger than most people are giving it credit for. The PGA Tour returned to Trump National Doral in Miami this week for the first time in a decade. The Cadillac Championship is a brand new signature event on the 2026 calendar. 5 rounds, no cut, 72 of the best players in the world competing on the Blue Monster course. A 7,739-yard par 72 layout that features water hazards on 10 holes and a closing stretch that has historically shredded the best players alive. The winner walks away with $3.6 million. The runner-up collects $2.16 million. Even last place earns $36,000. This is serious money on a serious golf course. And then there is this detail reported by NBC Miami just yesterday. Scottie Scheffler, the world number one, has never played the Blue Monster as a professional. Not once. The PGA Tour last held an event here in 2016. Scheffler turned professional in 2018. So this week, for the very first time, the best player on the planet is walking fairways he has never competed on, reading greens he has never putted, learning a golf course cold while $3.6 million sits at the other end of it. He walked the course in practice rounds on Tuesday and Wednesday. He studied it. He described it, and what he said revealed something important about exactly where his head is right now. That detail changes everything about how you should be watching this week. 2 weeks, 2 final rounds, 2 second-place finishes, and somehow Scottie Scheffler is the most dangerous man in professional golf right now. Let's be precise about what just happened, because the numbers tell a story that the leaderboard alone doesn't capture. At the Masters, Scheffler played the 3rd and 4th rounds without making a single bogey. Not one. He was the first player to accomplish that across the final 2 rounds at Augusta National since 1942. He shot himself into a tie for the lead, and then Rory McIlroy, defending champion, held on at 12 under to win by a single shot. One shot. After 72 holes of immaculate weekend golf, Scheffler walked away with nothing but a runner-up finish. Then, 7 days later, at the RBC Heritage, he did it again. He entered the final round 7 shots behind Matt Fitzpatrick. He clawed and birdied his way back into contention. He forced a playoff, and on the 18th hole, Fitzpatrick hit the shot of the tournament, a 4-iron to 13 feet, and rolled in the birdie. Scheffler lost again. 2 weeks, 2 runners-up, 2 European champions walking away with the trophy. Here is what makes this remarkable. According to reporting from HYTC and Yardbarker last week, Scheffler became the first player since Greg Norman in 1986 to record back-to-back runner-up finishes at the Masters and the RBC Heritage. 40 years. That is how long that record stood before Scheffler matched it. And Norman, for context, was in the middle of one of the most dominant stretches in professional golf history when he did it. Scheffler's own words after Harbour Town were measured and honest. On Sunday, it's a shot here or there that makes a difference. No excuses, no frustration, just a man who understands exactly how close he is. The question is whether close is about to become something else entirely. Here's a statistic that should stop you in your tracks. Scottie Scheffler is averaging 5.06 birdies per round on the PGA Tour in 2026. That number means nothing until you understand the context. According to Yardbarker, published today, no player in PGA Tour history has ever averaged more than 5 birdies per round across a full season. Not Tiger Woods at his peak, not Jack Nicklaus, not Rory McIlroy in his best years, nobody. Scheffler is not just leading that category right now, he is doing something that has never been done before in the history of professional golf's most prestigious circuit. Let that land for a moment. He has also not missed a single cut in 72 consecutive tournaments. 72. That streak covers multiple seasons, multiple continents, multiple formats. Rain, wind, pressure, off weeks. None of it has been enough to push him outside the weekend. His scoring average this season sits at 69.3 across 32 rounds, which leads the entire PGA Tour. And he has 5 top 5 finishes already in 2026, in addition to his win at the American Express back in January. But here is where it gets genuinely interesting, because Scheffler himself is not satisfied. His approach shot statistics, the category he has led the entire tour in for 3 consecutive years, have dipped. This season, he ranks 81st on average in strokes gained on approach. For most players, 81st would be a perfectly respectable number. For Scheffler, it represents a significant drop from the standard he has set for himself. He knows it. He has talked about it. And the fact that he finished runner-up at 2 consecutive major caliber events while his iron play was below his own benchmark is either deeply worrying for his rivals, Besides, it should be a generational player operating below his ceiling, and he is still almost winning everything he enters. The ceiling itself is the terrifying part. Before this week, the Blue Monster had a reputation built over 6 decades of professional golf. It was not built gently. Tiger Woods won here 4 times: 2005, 2006, 2007, and 2013. Jack Nicklaus won here. Lee Trevino won here. Nick Faldo won here. The list of champions at Trump National Doral reads like a Hall of Fame roll call, and every single one of them earned it on a golf course that does not forgive mistakes. Let me be precise about what Scheffler is walking into. The Blue Monster course stretches 7,739 yards. It plays as a par 72. It features water hazards on 10 of its 18 holes. 10. The closing stretch, holes 15, 16, and the brutal 473-yard par 418th has produced some of the most dramatic and painful finishes in the tournament's history. According to NBC Miami, the course was originally designed by architect Dick Wilson in 1962, the same man who redesigned Shinnecock Hills, site of the 2026 U.S. Open. This is not an accidental golf course. Every hole was built to expose weakness. And then there is what Scheffler himself said on Wednesday, in his first public comments after 2 days of practice rounds on the Blue Monster. His exact words, quoted directly by the PGA Tour just this morning. This course in particular is pretty straightforward in a sense of like, you can see off the tee box where you need to hit it. It's just a matter of hitting it there time and time again. There's not really many tricks to this golf course. It's just very, very difficult. He went further on the 18th hole specifically. If it's into the wind, now all of a sudden the fairway's 25 yards wide. Instead of hitting a wedge into the green, I'm going to be hitting a 4-iron. A golf course that shrinks around you depending on the wind. A golf course that punishes the slightly misaligned, the slightly rushed, the slightly uncertain. Scheffler has had 2 days to learn it. Somehow that feels like enough. There is a pattern that keeps appearing when you study Scottie Scheffler's seasons, and right now it is impossible to ignore. According to the score published yesterday, Scheffler did not have a single win at this point in the 2025 season either. And then the calendar flipped to May. What followed was one of the most dominant stretches any golfer has produced in the modern era. The question being asked across professional golf this week is simple and uncomfortable for everyone else in the field. Is it happening again? Consider the circumstances. Rory McIlroy is not here. Matt Fitzpatrick is not here. Xander Schauffele is not here. Ludwig Oberg is not here. The 2 players who beat Scheffler in the last 2 weeks, the only 2 men who have been able to hold him off at the finish line, are both sitting at home while Scheffler tees it up at Doral. He is, without question, the best player in this field. He is playing on a golf course that rewards exactly what he does best. Long iron approach play, driving accuracy, composure under pressure on a closing stretch that sorts the field brutally and quickly. But there is something larger sitting behind all of this. A victory at the U.S. Open this summer at Shinnecock Hills would complete the career Grand Slam, placing Scheffler alongside the most exclusive group in the history of the sport. When asked about it this week, his answer was revealing. "I never stood there in the mirror and said I have to do this," he said, "but this was always something that I dreamed about doing, and I wore pants to school growing up because that's what I saw the professionals wearing, and I wanted to be like them." That is not the answer of a man weighed down by expectation. That is the answer of someone who has already decided how this story ends, and is simply working his way toward it, one tournament at a time. The Cadillac Championship starts Thursday. The Blue Monster is waiting. And Scottie Scheffler, the man who has never played this course and is somehow still the favorite, looks less like a golfer trying to win and more like a force of nature finding its direction. When that happens in professional golf, it tends not to stop quietly.